I am joined here by Lauren, a great friend of the company. She is someone that we met last year and just had a really impressive process that she was willing to jump on and share with us today. So we're so excited to have you on, Lauren. Thank you so much for coming on and making some time to join us. If
Thank you.
you don't mind, just give us a brief introduction of yourself, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, perfect. So I'm Lauren Williams. I am the co-founder and one of the financial advisors at ProsperPlan Wealth. I have been in the industry for 20 years now, but I have been a financial advisor for 13 of those. We broke away from a much larger, higher volume registered investment advisor in April of 2024, so it's relatively new. And what I had learned while I was there, and honestly even before that, was just the importance of efficiency. And the way that we build out tech stacks now, they're not fully integrated. They're not all on the same platform. So you want to make sure that you have components of the tech stack that are interacting with each other easily. And so when I started out in the industry back in 2005, we used to have to manually pull information from crystal reports and put them into Excel spreadsheets to build out the reporting that we wanted to build out for households. And as you know, technology has changed immensely, even over just like the last 4 or 5 years, in terms of how quickly and how efficiently we can get things done. And so when we were founding ProsperPlan and starting to build our infrastructure, we were looking at potential partners who could help us with that one-click integration into our financial planning software, our tax software, our secure inboxes. And PreciseFP emerged to the top. And we're happy to say that we've been working with them now very closely, basically since June.
That is awesome. First of all, congrats on 20 years. And I'm so happy that that was able to be resolved because I have worked with offices that have that Excel sheet process, and it's got to just take hours, right?
hmm Well, I think the Excel sheet, it's really easy to lean into that because that's the way we've collected data, right? That's where, as a financial professional, I'm very comfortable in Excel. My administrative partner, client service associate, Shannon, she's very comfortable in Excel. So it can be kind of hard to break out of, that process of using Excel for collecting data or for organizing data. But it's definitely not the most efficient when that's where everything, starts and you have to go put it into multiple programs. And so we really are trying to get in the habit of making the front end component precise FP. So like even down to when perhaps a future client calls in, right? So let's say someone finds us on Google. The first thing I do is open Precise FP while I'm having that conversation. And I start collecting the data into that on the front end. And then I'm also integrating some use of whitepages.com, like the public data source, so I can look at addresses and make sure I have those spelled correctly. I can look people up by phone number and make sure I have their name spelled correctly. So I can do a lot of this data hygiene and double checking on the front end using PreciseFP and a few other tools. And I can make sure that my data is going into the system accurately so that when I'm importing it to other applications, it's consistent and accurate. And that really helps us bring down the number of not in good orders that we deal with on a daily basis. Like that is my number one issue because I feel like NIGOs waste time, they waste money, and they impact client trust. And so what my goal is is to really save that energy and put it towards bringing aboard more clients and helping more people efficiently and correctly and clearly. And so that's where PreciseFP gives me power that I need to do that.
So nice. So it sounds like you're filling out information with somebody on their behalf while you're on the phone with them and you're cross-checking it with resources online. And then
Mhm.
maybe you need to gather more. You could send them that pre-filled and have them build onto what you already collected.
So I usually try to collect all data. I don't, I view my clients are looking for concierge service. I deal with my client base usually falls between $2 million and 30 million net worth. And so we're doing like hands-on concierge service. It's not a matter of sending things out to clients and having them do it. They come to us because they want us to do things for them. So I'm usually working on completing that precise FP component, or my client service associate slash administrative partner, she's in there putting in data too. And as we're collecting new data, we're just going further and completing that out.
Nice. Okay, so it's not client facing at all for you. It's just kind of the medium and the bridge to send everything everywhere.
So it will be client, yes, exactly. So it's a bridge in my world right now. It will be client facing come tax season because I'm going to use the Plan template requesting the tax document upload. And so I'm very excited about that because I'm a big user of Plan. Um, I would say every case that I work on has Plan involved. And so this year, as we collect tax documents to re-review with our clients, we're going to be sending out that Plan email through PreciseFP.
That's going to be nice. Great. So you can
Yeah.
do a select all and send it all at once and
Hmm.
send it to Holistiplan for processing automatically.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to is building in more of those efficiencies. We're also building out our management agreement within PreciseFP so that we can automatically take that data, put it into our management agreement, get it right into DocuSign, get it sent out, get it signed, and then get the forms to go to our registered investment advisor completely signed. So we're definitely developing some additional workflows that will be a little bit more client facing right now, but we're
Mhm.
still very young into our development of our specialized processes on the ProsperPlan and New Edge Advisor side through the Precise FP channel.
Yeah, definitely. I like that you're working in digestible chunks. First it's the data gathering, and now you're kind of moving to see what else can you do with your subscription.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the thing about it is, as a transitioning business owner and you're starting to build this infrastructure, there's so many new components to our tech stack that we just haven't had access to before, or as we were siloed in a corporation, we wouldn't have had a reason to think about utilizing that. I had always known DocuPace because we did use that at one point in time for back office stuff there. But when we went through transition, and I was, you're gathering everything and trying to get paperwork ready and trying to be as accurate as possible. I That's when I really started looking into Precise FP. And once we started using that process, I noticed the efficiency pick up like immediately.
Hmm.
And then the next step is like, okay, now you're done with transition. You're meeting with all your clients, getting plans reestablished. Now we've got to think about future clients and how are we going to use this for more efficient onboarding. And so the next step is learning about what integrates in your platform so that you can do the one click integration. And then you
Yeah.
can start, it's just like the focal points. The things just start opening up, possibilities start opening up.
Nice. I love that. So you mentioned you use Holistiplan. What other
Mhm.
integrations are you using?
So integrations wise, I can actually show you.
Oh,
Let me
great.
share real quick.
I know I'm a visual person, so being able to see it all helps.
See the integrations, I agree. Can you see
Yeah.
this as integrations?
Yep, I see your integrations tab on PreciseFP.
Okay, perfect. So we use Advice Pay, and Advice Pay is just used for our one-time planning features or for our hourly planning features for wealth accumulators. I use Box.com as our secure storage where clients can upload files that keeps the file and sensitive data outside of email. DocuSign, obviously, I think everybody probably uses DocuSign at this point. Holistiplan is on our tech stack here. And we're lovers of Right Capital. I've used Money Guide Pro and eMoney, which I believe both also integrate, but Right Capital for the level of planning and the complexity that we take on, and especially in the tax planning components, Right Capital has been the partner that we've chosen.
Mhm.
My clients are split between Schwab and Fidelity, with the majority on the Schwab Center. And what's really nice about that particular integration is that it takes you right into the account application. And you can also upload, some of your additional ADV documents and disclosures directly into that Schwab e-account opening. So I used to run into a problem where it could take days. Like I would have to tell clients, oh, it'll take about 5 days for us to open these accounts and get it over to you. And honestly, I can open an account yesterday, for instance. I was in the middle of a rollover process for someone who had just retired. We found a piece of their 401k that was in Roth. I had that new account opened in 2 minutes. They signed the e-verification form while we were on our Zoom meeting. And
Wow.
we were able, yeah. So it's really powerful what you can do when you're working with these components of technology and using these data exports. And then finally, for CRM, we're using WealthBox, and that's kind of where PreciseFP came in, was because, we were getting data during transition on Excel spreadsheets. There was someone who was filling out the management agreement and the change of LPOA and the move money updates. And then there was someone else inputting the wealth box. And I'm like, why are we doubling up on the number of people that are required for this transition? And how do we stop that?
Yeah.
And that's where PreciseFP really came into my life, into my realm, or like, where I knew it was in existence. And then as I started talking to other people, like specifically our transition team, Nico over there at Advisor Stack, he was building a transition process on the PreciseFP platform. And I thought that was really interesting. And I was like, well, I know where we're headed, right? 47% of advisors retire in the next 5, 6 years, just based on age alone, aging out, opportunities to sell books of business. I know there's going to be a point in time where we look to bring on smaller books of business, and we wanted to create a strong transition process on the front end so that we can overcome these hurdles and really be good at integrating and managing the data. And what I really love about PreciseFP is that you can do a clean pull out of like Redtail, and you can pull that info and put it right into Wealthbox. So if you're buying out an independent advisor, you're looking at an opportunity where you're just basically pulling the data, cleaning it up, integrating, and then moving it into other places. And so that can also be said like going from Money Guide Pro to Right Capital. It's not a perfect pull of data, but I can usually on Right Capital, I can usually save 5, 10, 15 minutes by starting that workflow from my Precise FP because it will load a lot of that data for me. And what I've been hoping for, and Ryan, George, and I had a conversation about this recently. With the OCR technology that Holistiplan uses and the Holistiplan Precise FP relationship, my hope is that one day I'll be able to scan a tax form into Holistiplan, pull the income data, pull all the data I need to open the account into Precise FP, and put that right into Schwab, Wealthbox, Right Capital. That would be my perfect world.
Yeah, and even if it's stored in box for you automatically too.
Like to where it's organizing the client's folders for me and everything. Yeah. I think there's a lot of power in the tax forms just because of the relevant information that's on there when you're opening accounts. Oh, Ryan George said they've spoken with Holistiplan, their game. We're just working through things right now. So that's awesome. I just see so much power in that. Like, I'm so excited that you guys are taking that action because
Mhm.
it's really going to improve the life of advisors and our client service associates if we're using that OCR technology to our biggest benefit.
Yeah, definitely. And like you mentioned, if you're buying a book of business and they're in Redtail, you don't have to schedule that time and date for a conversion anymore, it sounds like, to convert that business over into Wealthbox. You can just use Precise FP to get everything over.
Yeah, because you can do the export, get your clients listed out. I like to clean data in Precise FP because it gives me such a easy to understand layout. Whereas with the CRMs, they get a little bit more complex in the way things that, there's so much more data in there. So I think just going through and checking data, because I've been in the industry for a really long time now. I know what happens to CRMs. Like clients forget to tell us that they changed addresses, the phone numbers change, email addresses change, people pass away. Um, it can be really hard to clean out a CRM in that way. But when I put it into Precise FP and I'm breaking it down record by record, and I'm able to click on that one record and kind of clean things that way, to me, it just works better for my brain than having like this massive Excel spreadsheet in front of me where I'm looking at all this data at once.
Mm. Yeah, I can see that because the profile page is just one page versus
Yeah.
clicking on this tab, clicking on that tab, scrolling
Mhm.
down, going to driver's license, hitting edit, typing it in, hit save.
Yeah. And that's where my brain probably works differently than maybe an operations analyst or um, an engineer or something where they can see, like 25, 30, 100 columns of data and their brain's fine. Mine's like, let's do one record at a time. Um, but it's really powerful. I mean, it's just been really cool seeing what Precise FP could do. And like I said, we're still like slowly learning the true power behind it and integrating it slowly. But I feel like there's a lot more opportunity that we don't even know about yet. Like I'm starting to jump into your workflows section. Or I'm sorry, I call it workflows. The section that I've been digging into now
Oh yeah,
as I
pipelines. Let's talk about
pipeline.
pipelines.
Yeah. So this is I've always been in this process, this conversion process, right? Of meeting with a client for the first time, doing discovery, collecting data, doing analysis, getting the financial plan together, doing the financial plan um, meeting where you're talking about a few recommendations, maybe not the whole plan, getting the permission to move forward, getting the paperwork ready, getting them to sign, coming back together for like an allocation meeting and a financial planning meeting. And so as we are working on our SOPs and documenting our processes the way that we want them so that we can build the workflows into CRM, I am also starting to pay attention to this section here, which bear with me, window.
Yeah, it sounds like
So,
the process of, the permission to the allocation meeting and the paperwork, it seems really
mhm.
abstract, where putting Precise FP into it makes it really tangible and probably helps your brain as well. Of like, okay, we're moving along.
Yeah, I think anytime I can have like a decision map in place
Mhm.
and know what the next steps are, and anytime I can build out a workflow or a standard operating procedure, um, the process is really where the wins are. And when you're doing the same process and it's repeatable, it's also scalable and you find comfort in the process. Like it just, if you have your process in place, it takes a lot of the did I do that out of the equation. And so what I really like about this client pipeline section, the onboarding. So this is where I take a prospect. I can show you. So this is where I take a prospect to a client. The discovery phase is the fact finder. I use, my own fact finding through Right Capital because Right Capital also has layers that you can fill in as you're collecting data.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
then you have the plan, which you're completing. So in this stage, it would be like, hey, I'm filling in my prospect form. Now I'm moving into discovery. I'm uploading my prospect information into CRM, box.com, um, my financial planning tool. And I'm going to collect data inside my financial planning tool, and then I'll leave dictation and organize notes around it after that within CRM. So that's just giving my backup notes from the verbal conversation. One day I would love to use AI note taking, but our
Yeah.
compliance team isn't quite there yet. So with
Oh,
the
okay.
LLM, the language models, like we're approaching that softly. I'll put it that way. And then from here, I can turn them into clients. So now I have a great, easy way to count my number of prospects. I have an easy way to count and follow my clients. Um, Investment policy statements I do through another tech stack. This right here, if I got everything into PreciseFP, it would be great. But, the tech stacks when you're using Orion as your ecosystem and as our data analyzer for portfolios, and then we're using the financial planning tool, like we're still collecting various information in various places. So I know I can make it better. I can do this better. I just have to learn, how to make these all engage with each other. And then it takes you right down to like the client survey amount at the end. And
Hmm.
so what I have found about Precise FP is a lot of these things are editable, like they're meldable to your style and your workflow. And anytime I want to go in and change anything, I can tell somebody else because I'm not as good at this. So like I usually go to somebody else on my team and tell them what I want changed and I make it happen. Or they make it happen. And I'm very appreciative of that. But this is my next thing is like I really want to nail down this process and I want to be in a strong, repeatable process.
Really great. And for leads, what are you doing when you're trying to qualify leads? Are they also going through that pipeline?
So when I'm qualifying leads, typically, like, let's say my largest way of getting leads is through referral, right? And so typically, because people are coming to me through referral, I'm qualifying leads in an appointment of some sort. So that could be through like our Zoom consultation, the 15-minute one, the 30, or the hour. I'm always going to provide value to future clients that come in as leads, especially when they're referrals, because those are, I have a relationship base of where my clientele is based on the strong relationships that we have in the communities we've developed together. So I'm qualifying leads in actual meetings. I'm not loading them into PreciseFP and saying, yeah, you're qualified or not qualified. I'm definitely using it to collect data and adding people to when I add them to, like, let's say I get a lead and the lead isn't ready to meet, but I've collected enough data to get their phone number, their email address, and that's usually done through my Calendly, right? Because that's gated to where you have to have email and phone number. Then I can move them into PreciseFP, upload them into CRM, and then from CRM, my advisor stream, so like my news letter software or my newsletter provider, they'll take it right from CRM. So CRM's integrated into, all of the marketing channels as well. And so everything just kind of like talks to each other, right? So that's what we wanted whenever we were building out a tech stack, is like, we don't want to do anything manually. We want everything to talk to each other. And if it can't talk, I'm not really at the point where I understand Zapier and its entirety. My partner, Chris, the infrastructure guy, he would be able to figure that out better. But right now, we've built the tech stack in a way that we can pretty much avoid using Zapier. So,
Really nice. Okay, great.
yeah.
And so it sounds like you have 7 integrations you're using, Wealthbox, Schwab Box, DocuSign, HolistiPlan, Right Capital, AdvicePay, and we're working toward extracting that data from HolistiPlan as like a perfect world scenario. But is there anything else like in regards to, you said that you were able to take up an account that used to take 5 days into 2 minutes. Is there anything else that you would want to share that can help other advisors in their process?
I mean, really just like pay attention to the components of the tech stack and make sure they're all integrating. I don't really feel like if there's a tool that's not integrating with PreciseFP right now, it's probably not quite as valuable to my organization because of the way we try to use PreciseFP on the front end. Um, Build out your processes for efficiency. Pay attention to data hygiene, because data hygiene is going to be the number one way to avoid not in good order documents. Make sure you have a great client service associate who takes time to really understand paperwork and fill it in accurately, because that also avoid NIGOs. I think I'm just really stuck on like data accuracy and avoiding NIGOs right now. That's just been like the foundation of ProsperPlan, is like, how can we make this and do it better to where we don't have the same problems that the high volume organizations have.
Yeah, I love that. And if somebody is, letting you know that they moved, what's the process there? Are you doing it in Precise FP and sending it everywhere else?
Yeah, so I'm going into PreciseFP and then I'm doing, so like when you're in PreciseFP and you're doing the import to each of the tools that are connected to it, you can find the profile that already exists and then you can just put that new data in and it'll sync all the cells the way they are. So it'll take the updates in.
Great. And what
Yeah.
about relationship builder questions? Maybe are you gathering things like favorite restaurant, pet's name, military service branch, alma mater, things like that?
I'm doing that more in my notes, like my dictation notes. I like to take down, a few nuggets of personal information, always around kids and grandkids' names, things that they like. Um, there's a lot of data stored in my head that could also still be utilized. It's like I've had relationships with these people for so long, and I've been building this particular book of business now for well over a decade. So I've got so many long term, excellent client relationships that the things just I know about them because I care about them.
Mm.
And so I probably need to be a little bit better about that kind of stuff. But no, I have not used any of the warm discovery questions in PreciseFP.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that, but I bet if you ever go on vacation, people are bothering you like, "Hey, where's that thing that's in your head?"
Yeah, and that's one of the things, I'm doing a CEPA, which is Certified Exit Planning designation right now, and I'm
Nice.
learning ab- exactly, about the lifestyle practice where it is, the advisor basically has all the information in their head, they're the go-to, versus value acceleration where the business can operate without you. And I'm trying to make this shift.
Mm.
Um, to where the business can operate without me. But I've already been through, it's I've been at this now since April of 2024 building ProsperPlan, right?
Yeah.
And so I think once we have the SOPs in place, and we have more staff members trained to field the questions and deal with some of the things that I would deal with normally on a day-to-day basis, I think we're going to be in a better place. And I know my client service associate, she's building a lot of relationships right now where clients are starting to go to her directly. And
Hmm.
so we do have in Wealth Box, I've tagged one of the notes so that we can start taking notes that are seen immediately when you log into their CRM record. And that way they get whoever's serving them gets a brief overview of this person and what that relationship looks like.
Yeah, that's really valuable. And if somebody wants to add on an additional service with you, how is that process? Do you just have to gather a few more details to, get them to another service that you're offering?
In terms of the services that I offer, like we're full on financial planners, so we're more like general practitioners, right? And in that general practitioner, like if you looked at it as your family doctor, where you just go into the office and do your checkup and they give you a specialist. We have specialists on our team that we refer over to. And
Nice.
so right now, we do, there's interfacing with other people's tax stacks for that particular, for instance, our tax team, they open a portal where we get access to our clients' tax documents, or we can upload the tax documents on their behalf. We can see past tax forms, etc. So some of that's still more manual in nature because they're not on our Precise FP system.
Mm.
And a lot of those are going to require more warm introductions. I am fully licensed in insurance, um, but that's still something that I have team that I refer out to, right? So really my services fall within the scope of the general financial planning, the analysis, um, and using the tools like Plan, or, currently we're using wealth.com, or keeping things organized data wise. But for a lot of specific things, like if it's going into an insurance sale, then that's going to have to go to a specialist team. Or if I want to do like an integrated estate plan instead of a simple one, like a more complex plan, that's going to be referred out to my estate planning team. We also have senior care managers. Those will be, those cases will be referred out to our senior care managers as needed. So it's just, with the additional services, we try to keep things pretty neat and simplified on this end, to where we're really doing a lot in the tax planning, the investment management space, and then providing our expertise in more of a consulting nature rather than a sales nature when it
Mhm.
comes to insurance and estate services.
That's great. A lot of moving parts, but that is so
Mhm.
awesome. For reports that are coming from Holistic Plan or plans from Right Capital, how are you distributing those? Through email or?
So most of the time I'm not distributing the reports.
Okay.
Usually I'm just going through the details with clients on Zoom meetings or in person. But yeah, I do not do a lot of distribution of reporting. I just have conversations and take the actions that I need to take with the tax team or the estate planning team. It's um, I always think more like a multifamily office, right? Like, we're not going to give them all the reports and have them look at the reports. We're going to tell them what we're looking at and what we're going to do, and then we're going to take that action and get it done.
Hmm. I like that. They're not, worried and Googling all night and calling you with more questions,
Yeah,
wonders.
I learned that through, funny enough, like I work with healthcare workers. That's where I built my practice, right? Is with doctors, nurses, other people who work in healthcare, and business owners. And so I would get these blood tests, and it still happens. Like, these reports show up on my Kaiser Permanente portal. Um, and it's Googling all night. It's taking like MRI results and trying to figure out what this or that is. Uh, and I can just have a conversation with the doctor in like 15 minutes and get their feedback. And I don't
Hmm.
have to spend all that time trying to figure out, why this result's a little outside of range and what I need to do about it. And
Yeah.
so, that's generally why it's just easier for me to have a conversation. And that's what my clients want me to do. Like,
Yeah.
they're not here to read reports. They're here to have me analyze and give them feedback.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Yeah, I agree. You see that those results and everything has an exclamation point and you're like, "Oh no. Everything's
I
going
I
downhill."
don't know what this means.
Yeah. When they're like, "You just need to take iron. It's okay." Awesome. Well, if there are any questions, definitely submit those questions. We'll allow a few minutes to see if anything comes in. But it sounds like, it really adds some order to the chaos. It makes everyone's experience better internally on your team, I'm sure, with all of the other service providers that are working with you, as well as your clients that, they just have to talk to you. You're getting everything that you need from them. And then from there, you're, making those plans for them. So, really great job. Congratulations on the 20 years and also the
Yeah, thank you.
Prosper starting that in April of 2024. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And I just want to say, like, I really appreciate how your team has been so open and effective to coordinating with our team, and just like as we're building things out, the level of support we've received has been pretty amazing.
Yeah, what's it like when you have a question? You just jump into that chat and it's a real human and Pretty
I think
quick
we've been
response.
more or less just emailing. Ryan George connected us with some people for the templates, the template development, and we've been more or less just emailing with them. And then they've provided some pretty good resources on how to build out these customized templates that we're working with for our new Edge Advisor document. And so our documents, I should say. So
Yeah,
it's been really easy, and just like the openness of having the conversations about holistic plan and OCR technology and how to make this process a little bit easier by using the power of Holistic Plan's OCR. It's been really impressive. Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And for it sounds like you didn't just start with a form that's in the form library. You built your own template and you're using Schwab for your ADV.
Yeah. So we have some forms that are in the form library that we have definitely started um, customizing, but there are a few forms that are not in the form library because they're proprietary to the registered investment advisor that we work with. So
Mm.
then we have to go in and take, pieces and build out each box and then train it to speak to the other box on the form. And
Okay.
then, so there's a whole process of it's kind of like creating these AI models now where you have to, I'm doing a lot with AI models in terms of work with pictures and writing and workflows, even trying to get like my Kaiser Permanente workflows in place.
Mm.
Um, and so when you're building out AI models and you're training models, there's a lot to learn there, like when you try to go into developer mode. And so right now we're kind of in developer mode on some of these precise FP things that we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. But did you say you are doing PDF mapping really quickly? I just wanted to clarify that. So you're uploading your proprietary form and mapping it into there,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
wow, awesome. Did someone on your staff do that with
Yeah, definitely not me. Yeah. So we have my partner Chris, who's in charge of our tech stack and infrastructure.
Oh,
He
great.
has a vast community of programmers and other knowledgeable people that we have contracted with, and
Mm.
they're helping us build those things out. Yeah.
Oh, wow, way to go, Chris. So what's
Yeah.
your staff like? Do you have 5 members, eight?
So we have a pretty vast team. So if you look at my New Edge side, I think there's 45 members from operations, trading, compliance, marketing, um, advisor advocates, etc. And then we're a DBA of New Edge advisors. We have a staff of, I'll call it five, because we have four full time and then we have two part time. And so we all have our roles. The part timers are really the ones we bring in for these special use cases, right?
Mm.
So they're the ones that, oh, my lighting's getting bad, but they're the ones who basically help us with the programming of data. They come in and help us with things in Canva,
Mm.
more marketing elements. So we try to use, these creators to help us with our own processes.
Yeah. When do you
Yeah.
decide that we're gonna add another part-timer and I'm not gonna try to tackle it myself?
Again, it's coming back, like being a great advisor is coming back to knowing what you're good at and what you're not. And I wholeheartedly know what I'm not good at. And I know what I don't have time to do. And so I'm always looking for like who is the specialist that I can go to get this done
Hmm.
in a way that I don't have to worry about it and that it's going to be done correctly, right? And so anytime I can take stuff off of my to-do list and give that to someone who's their brain actually works like that, like I'm going to bring in a specialist on on any of those times that I don't have the skill set or the function to do something. I want somebody who does. And because we do work with contractors 1099,
Mm.
through New Edge, we're able to onboard new contractors. My bookkeeper is able to get these people paid. They invoice me. Um, and it basically just it works really well for our organization. It keeps our overhead and our margin low because we're not just adding new employees, we're bringing on people to fulfill projects. And when those projects are over, we don't have that ongoing W-2 payment. We don't have that ongoing employee overhead.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. I have a few questions that came in. Do you use a dictation app?
I used to. I've used mobile assistant, and now I've got Copy Talk. But really, what I've ended up doing is on Wealth Box in the notes section, there's a microphone, and you can just leave a dictation by pressing that. And it's a lot easier than doing the whole dictation service. I mean, I can correct it in real time. And so I usually just do all my dictation now through Wealthbox.
That's amazing, Lauren. What a nice little piece of information to give, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she means when she uses the Wealthbox app, right? You go in to type your note, there's that microphone icon on your phone.
Yeah. So like if it in my hold on, let me see if I can show you.
Oh, it's even on the website too.
Oh yeah. It's right here. Let me go into my own profile so it's not showing any client stuff. Um Lauren.
And I feel like dictation is an important thing because I can type, a
Oh, it's
three
the most
sentence
important
note, but I
thing.
could talk like a three paragraph note, right? So it really adds more value to your notes.
Oh yeah, for sure. So here, let me just share this with you real quick, Nora. So here's the window, wealth box. So
All
if I
right, I
come
see
down
your wealth
to
box right now.
this tool right here and I press on transcribe, now it should be picking up what we're saying.
Yeah, and oh, there we go. Nice. I was gonna
So
say
it
maybe
won't be perfect. You have to like do some editing as you go, or you can pick up this information and take it into other channels and clean it up really quickly and format it.
really nice. Jamie's asking, do you use PreciseFP to prepare paperwork?
Yes, that's the new account paperwork. Hold on one second. Let me stop share real quick.
Okay.
So the new account paperwork through Schwab, like if you use that portal, it's going to take you right into the Schwab e-verification application for new accounts. Um, the goal is to be able to prepare all of the paperwork through PreciseFP. That's why we're currently putting our proprietary paperwork in and getting that map done. And so the goal, yes, is to be able to get everything into paperwork that's within DocuSign. And that's what this team of people that we've been hiring to work on these things are trying to do right now is build those processes so that we can just generate paperwork from within PreciseFP.
Great. And we have a question wanting to know more about the PDF mapping. We're happy to also go through that with you as well, but Lauren, you're taking your proprietary PDF, uploading it into PreciseFP, and then, like you said, mapping each box.
Yeah, so you're training it. You have to like
Yeah.
code it to talk to the different boxes. It's definitely not the easiest task, I would say. If you follow the step-by-step guide, I think it gets a little bit easier, but I haven't owned that task and I'm not going to pretend to know a lot about it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's not 101 stuff, right? It's definitely like 201, but if you
Mhm.
do dedicate that front end work to get that done, man, it really helps get those PDFs filled with the
Mhm.
information that's in PreciseFP, and you don't have to, go line by line manually keying in things. All right. And Stacy's asking, do you collect their email also and actually create an account on their behalf? From my experience, you have to create an account. So how do you go about doing that?
Create an account in PreciseFP. What
Yeah,
do
it
you mean
sounds
by that?
like when you're on the phone with somebody and you're getting that information, you might just click on that plus sign in the accounts area and just start typing in information for their account. So you're creating that account for them. You're not, sending them a
Yeah, I'm
link.
not sending them anything. I'm just going in and editing it. So like what I do is I go into the four-piece information tab. Let's see. Let me get back to PreciseFP over here. And so if I log back in, now let's say I've got Nora as a prospect.
Hmm.
And I'm just trying to get this to share on a screen where I don't have client information showing. So you'll have to
Oh
bear
yeah,
with me.
definitely take your time.
Okay, so I don't even know if I can get it. Okay, I can't get it where it won't show data because it's just filling up that one small portion of the screen. But let's say Nora Jones. So if I'm inside of what I did, now that I can share, sorry.
Oh, you're good. Thank you for getting it set up and showing us.
Yeah, it's just hard because it shows all that other data, and you're like, "Ah,
Yeah.
don't really want to show that." Okay, so I'm in this new profile that I just set up. I just went through that 4 questions, which is the first name, last name, email address, and phone number. And that was after pressing on the plus. So now
Mm-hmm.
I'm inside of here. So now I'm going to go edit. I'm not
Mm.
sending them anything. I'm just going female. Okay, she's married, country. I'm usually pulling, it's the first conversation over the phone, they're a lead. I might pull birth date off of whitepages.com and put
Nice.
that in here. And then down here, I'll pull residential address. If I didn't ask them for it, I'll check residential address on whitepages.com and I'll add that in. And then I can go in, if we're having a conversation and other things are coming up, I'll just go in and fill out these sections while we're chatting. And then this stuff down here, the other attorneys, the accountants and stuff, I do like to have this filled in because I have to interact with the other financial professionals on their financial team as well. So that's how I do it. And then once I have that filled out, then I just go export. I'm not gonna put this into Wealthbox because this is fake data, but I'll put it into Wealthbox, I'll put it into Right Capital, and I'll put it into HolistaPlan. One of the things about HolistaPlan now, I think, is they're starting to charge by household. And so I'm a little bit hesitant right now just to willy-nilly add people into HolistaPlan unless I actually have tax forms in hand that I need to analyze. So I usually just do box.com, Wealthbox, and Right Capital as soon as I talk to them, and then I'll go right to Wealthbox after the conversation and leave my dictation.
Nice job, Lauren. Thank you so much for going through that. This is the first time I've seen, a process where you're not sending it to the client. You're working with ultra high net worth. you want to make sure that you're doing this on their behalf and you're providing that high level of customer service. So thank you so much for showing us
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
side where it's like, you're not just limited to engaging and sending a link, you can do it on their behalf. And sharing all of your integrations as well. I think these 7 that you talked about today were really helpful as well, because I know you've probably seen Kits's map that's just,
Yeah,
100 plus
fast.
integrations. And
Yeah.
it's like, what do I use and why? So it's very valuable for people to hear all of these that you're using, as well as the extra tips you gave, like using that microphone icon for dictation and your hopes to add AI in as soon as that's approved as well.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to get more AI going. And I know that you have to, like, we have to become experts in these AI tools because the financial planning we're doing these days is so vast and it covers so many different topics and elements that it would really be nice just to like be able to continue to simplify these processes and procedures so that we can focus on what we're good at, which is giving great advice.
Hmm. Yes, AI, go and find whitepages.com and verify this address, right? That would be
Well,
nice.
if you can, that's what I was saying, like with the models, if you can train the models in AI to do all that for you, and it automatically does each of those portions and uploads for you, like there's the opportunities are endless. It's just it's going to take a lot of, it's like when the internet came out or even when, manufacturing sector became available, people didn't, they don't trust it. It takes years to build trust after these mega societal shifts, and we're not there yet.
Yeah, that's so true. I personally look forward and hope that we can reconnect again in the future and we'll just reevaluate where things have gone since this conversation. I'm sure it'll be impressive.
Okay, perfect. Well, it was great talking to you. I love working with your team, and I will chat with you later, Nora.